Hello, my name is Annie and welcome to my YouTube channel. If I don't look at the camera and I look at my phone instead, I'm so sorry, I'm not used to this. I decided to make this kind of Reformation style peasant blouse because I just want to fit in with the popular people. I just want to be seen as cool and relevant. So now if you take a look at my bedroom, you probably think she probably shops at Brandon Millville and Urban Outfitters and the thrift stores and is all cool and stuff. But if you take a look at my closet, it's like basically the exact opposite. My outward appearance is very goth and very emo. Not really like, so what I wear is basically the exact opposite of my room aesthetic. And I thought, maybe I should try and mesh my two aesthetics. Anyways, I decided to kind of make this Reformation style top, but black. So more my style. I thought up this design at the ripe hour of 12:30 a.m. and I scribbled this beautiful picture on my notes, and then when I woke up I was like, what is this? And then I looked at it and I was like, I'm gonna make that. So I spent the entire day making that. Now that I have that basic idea of what I want to do, I decided to actually plan it out and draw it out. I drew all of the pieces out and what they would have to look like. So after I mapped out all of the pieces that I wanted, I went to my sewing mannequin and I measured basically all of the pieces and all of the dimensions. Now, to be honest, at this point I get pretty lazy. I underestimate how big things should be and I overestimate how small things should be, and so completely disregard basically all of my measurements at this point because basically none of them worked out. So now that I measured everything, I took all of my measurements and applied it to the fabric. Now at this point I basically completely disregarded the bias of the fabric, but I didn't really care because I was lazy. Due to my own lack of planning, I basically had to recut almost everything twice, so learn from my mistakes and actually plan ahead. Age-old saying of measure twice, cut once. I have never learned from that. I always kind of measure and cut 4 or 5 times. So now that you have all of your pieces cut out, it's time to start sewing them together. Now, before I started sewing everything together, I basically took every single piece of fabric and overcast the edge so I could have a bit more of a clean finish. I just did an overcast stitch with my little overcast foot and it worked out just fine. Now, starting with the actual assembly of the shirt, I started shirring this to the back panel of the shirt. I'm not really going to explain how to do that in this video, but I followed this amazing video that I found and I'm going to link it in the description box below so you can go and watch that and actually learn how to do it instead of listening to me babble on for like 5 hours trying to explain how to do this actually pretty simple procedure. I didn't have actual shirring elastic to put on the bobbin, so I found this bracelet craft elastic and I wound it around my bobbin and it worked out just fine. I then took the shirred panel and side panel and sewed them together. Now that the back is basically done, I moved on to the boob floof area, as I called it. I sewed a basting stitch along the top and the bottom of the boob floof rectangle and pulled the bobbin thread to create the ruffle. Now I moved on to draping the boob floof lining on my mannequin I basically winged? Wang? No, not that one. I just guessed how I wanted it and then pinned it and then cut it out and then sewed it. I took the boob floof and the lining and put them right sides together, and I sewed both the top and the bottom. That was a pretty big mistake because I wanted to have the front panel and the boob floof to have a clean edge. I had to unpick the bottom of the boob floof so I could sandwich in the front panel to create the clean edge that I desired. While that was unpicked and only the top seam was sewn, I understitched the seam allowance to the lining to give it a cleaner finish when the garment was done. The garment? Who am I, Tim Gunn? And then I sandwiched the front panel in between the boob floof and the boob floof lining, flipped it inside out, and got this beautiful clean edge. Next, I snip-snopped the edges of the boob floof and the front panel to create this nice even edge. Then I pinned it to my mannequin, and I pinned the back to the back of my mannequin, and I realized that it is too short. And then I got upset and went and ate some pizza rolls. After I was fully charged on pizza rolls, I came back and tried to figure out what I was gonna do. I decided on adding in an extra side panel to just mend the gap that my poor planning created. So after you try on just the tube top area, I guess, make sure it all fits, then you move on to the sleeves, which were very aggravating. Very aggravating. I designed this top to have bands on the bottom of the sleeves to give it like a nice clean look, but it just didn't work out and ended up being way too complicated than I was willing to do. I created a casing around the bottom of the sleeve and put elastic through, just tacked the edges, and it gave me the poof that I wanted without all of the hassle. So of course, just like everything else with making this top, I cut the sleeves too small, and so I had to recut them to a bigger size, and that would have been all avoided if I would have planned more. I took the straps and folded them basically into fours to create a bias tape and pressed that and attached them like straps. Then I sewed a basting stitch along the top of the sleeve and gathered it. I sandwiched the top in between the folds of the strap, and then I pinned the bottom of the sleeve right sides together like you would with a normal sleeve. Then I top stitched along the strap and sewed along the bottom of the sleeve, and ta-da! You have a sleeve. At this point, all of the shirt was sewn together, and I just tried it on for the last time, cut extra threads, and it was done. This shirt took me a surprisingly long time to make, mostly because of my lack of planning and lack of brain cells, but if you were to make this top at home and actually plan it out correctly, it's pretty easy to make and actually pretty cute. I'm surprised with how much I like this top. So anyways, thank you for watching this video. I hope that you learned something, and if not, I hope you enjoyed the ride, I guess. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. I have a whole bunch of other projects and ideas just whirling around in this smooth chicken breast brain of mine. So if you like to tag along and watch me fail at making tutorial videos again, stay tuned. Subscribe. I don't know what I'm gonna post next, but I hope it'll be great. Anyways, I will see you in the next one.